Hello, this is Debbie Hodge, Designer Digital's creative team member, talking about embellishing your scrapbook pages. Today I'm taking a look at embellishment clusters. By this I mean several embellishments grouped at one spot on a layout. Embellishment clusters can be showy or simple. Using an embellishment cluster lets you combine several items, including images, that reinforce your page subject and contribute to the page design. On this Disney submarine page, Elle Pate uses one simple cluster at the bottom left of her photo grouping. She's included a piece of metal that echoes the feel of a porthole. She's even got some wrinkled tape behind there that's blue and dotted that echoes the feeling of water, along with this fun epoxy submarine. These both sit upon a tag that says document the details. And are you new to using embellishment clusters and just not sure where to start? One thing you could do is to check out the layered templates in the store that include embellishments along with the page layout. The Just Be template by Katie Petit has a cluster ready-made for you. Check it out. There's hearts, a bird, these small jewelry tags, and they all sit upon a larger journaling tag. You could use this cluster as is, or take a look and see what Brittany Lane has done with it. She changed it up a little. She added a green epoxy. She subbed that in for the bird, and that's really perfect for this page because now she's got a visual triangle of greens: the epoxy, the tab, and the scallops. Let's talk about the kinds of things that you can put into an embellishment cluster. Well, really you can put in anything that works, but if you're looking for a starting spot, grab a tag or a journaler, something to act as your foundation. Here Shauna's got a journaling strip behind here. And then you can add in some elements that have to do with your page theme. Shauna's page is called Today. In fact, this works as her title right here with this word clip. And then a snowflake to represent the season when it was taking place. So you've got your base of the journaling strip, or it could be a tag, and then your themed or subject-related items, and then add in some clip fasteners or buttons, anything that's meaning neutral. So there's a clip here, a button, and a little bit of stitching. And then you have the cluster. And then the next question after what do you put into a cluster would be, where do you put it on your page? Well, here Shauna has worked it right into her block, and it overlaps some, but I would say it's more in the grouping than out of it. Whereas now let's take a look at a page where the cluster is used a little bit outside of the block and to ground it. On this page by Kaylee, she's got a vertical cluster here that sits outside of her block and grounds it to the mat behind it. Another thing that you can put into groupings are word clips, which Kaylee's done really nicely here. She's got several word clips, all in great colors, and some foliage, and some fasteners. Fasteners are great additions to your themed items. The pieces are all clustered closely and layered. There's no rules, though, for how to make your embellishment clusters. There's certainly some good principles that you can work by that'll help you get great results, but there's no rules. Let's take a look at this page by Amber R. She's got 3 clusters here. And these are more looser and free-flowing than the ones that we've looked at already. At the top we've got a butterfly sitting on a clock, and then some loose stitching around it, and a flower and buttons sprinkled off to the side. Oh, and she's got these word strips here too. But it's not sort of the tightly layered kind of cluster. So one of the principles that Amber has used is the idea of using your embellishments for flow. And she's used 3 embellishment clusters that create a visual triangle on her page. My eye started right here and then moved down to this grouping where she's got another butterfly. But now think back to our lesson 2 weeks ago where we talked about using repetitions with variety. She's repeated a butterfly, but it's in a different color. And then she's got, again, the button and flower sprinkled and some different word clips. And the final spot on the triangle would be down here with an epoxy and some more stitching, button, and flower. So she's got great repetitions with variety, and she's using her clusters for flow on the page. Another placement option for your embellishment cluster is to set it off by itself. On New Spot, I used a simple cluster of an epoxy on a vintage snip with a definition, set off by itself, and while it's much smaller than this large grouping here, the generous white space excuse me, around it gives it enough weight that it can balance this large grouping. Let's finish up with one more page by one of my favorite embellishers. Here Kaylee has an eye-catching grouping at top left. It incorporates images that work well with a nature page as well as some small and versatile items. She's used this oval tag as her foundation, layered on top of it the bird and the cutout florals, foliage, and then a button and a tag. She's shaped things nicely around the corner up here. It grounds it to the page, but it also really gives it flow. The bird has a real sense of motion to it, and then that yellow is repeated right on down through the page, and my eye then ends up at the bold title down here. I hope these examples of scrapbook pages with embellishment clusters inspire your own page embellishments, and I look forward to seeing them in the Designer Digital Gallery.